Guys, hello and welcome to Skycurser Daily number 86, where it's our goal to be a better indie dev today than we were yesterday. So today we are going to be working on, still working on the boss for level 2. The boss is composed of, as you know, 2 different enemies, and we are almost finished with Julio. I'm going to go ahead and hit start so we can see the boss. We'll just get straight to the boss. As soon as we start, we got a lot of his scripting done yesterday. We even got his exit off screen done. I think we might move over to Cesar today and do his scripting, and then at the very end we'll come back and tighten up what we need to tighten up with Julio. There is one thing I want to update right now because I want it to look good, and that is very specifically I want to get Julio's vertical spit correct and make it look really good. So I'm going to slow down Julio, and we'll watch his speed slow down when he starts on the path, and we'll watch his image speed slow down so we can see exactly where the spit is originating from on him, because right now it could pass for being fine, but I think it needs to be updated to look even better than it currently does. I'm perfectly fine with his horizontal spit. I think it looks really good. So while this is loading, I'm going to go ahead and open up the boss object. I want to speed that up for sure. And so here's the spit. This is what I want to slow down tremendously. And then he comes back. So he's in a loop. That's his loop right there. And everything's going to be faster overall, a little bit faster. Right now he's moving fairly slow. We wanted to make sure the movements were all correct. I'm pretty okay with the path. I probably will have a couple of updates to make to the path, but for now I like how it's shaping out for him, especially on the vertical spit. Alright, so first things first, we gotta open up the step event, and we gotta look at the animation. Script, enemies, level 2, boss, animation. On the vertical spit, we're going to slow down his animation really a great deal. Let's just do quarter speed, and then on his path for the vertical spit, we will go speed of 1 for now, so about a third of the speed that we saw. So this should be good to tell us some information. Okay, so of course fast. One other thing I need to do is go ahead and speed up his animation for his punch. I'll do that in just a moment though. So look how slow we are. Then he slows way down. Look where it's coming from. It's coming from like, you know, southwest of where it should be coming from. Southwest. Every single one of them. So I knew that something like that was happening, and I want to see if I can fix that now. So really probably the best thing for us to do to try to get it right now, I do have x minus 30 and y minus 3. X minus 30 is going to pull it left, which is about where it was. Y minus 3 is going to pull it down, but that's still not going to be 100% correct if I just remove those. So let's go ahead and look about where he is, or where his mouth is whenever he's vertical. So that's where the spit actually happens, right there. So x minus 30 would bring it back to about here. Y minus 3 would bring it down a little bit. I'm wondering if his spit is actually happening on that right there, 20. It should be happening right there. So we're probably just gonna have to feel this out a little bit. For now, let's go x minus 10, and we'll probably go y instead of minus 3. We need to pull it up even more than that. Let's go minus 23. So let's try that. We basically moved both of those values by about 20. Zoltaire, how's it going, man? So here we go. Let's try this again.
Skycurser.
Again, I need to speed that up. Sweet, dude. Love it. Welcome. Oh, look at that. That is pretty close. I think the Y position still needs to come up a little bit more. Let's watch. Yeah, so the Y position is too far south still, so let's correct that. So what game you working on, man? Tell me about it. Okay, let's go. I'm thinking at least 10 more pixels. Let's see if that looks right. I keep forgetting to update the speed of the uppercut punch. Or the jab, I mean. So I'm going to update that right now. We'll blow this away. Thumbs up there. And I want to finish updating the jab before I go back in. I don't see anything in particular that's slowing the whole process down, so let's go ahead and try this. Thinking of making a 2D version of The Last of Us, like just a 2D concept of it, kind of in the style of Swords and Sorcery, but in my own style. Sweet, dude. That'd be awesome, man. Are you, what game engine are you using? Oh yeah, look how much faster that is. That looks really good. Boom. Okay, so here's where we slow down intentionally. I think I'm gonna... Ooh, that's pretty close. Pretty close. I think it still needs to come up a little bit. I'm saying let's just move this to instead of, I think we're at minus 33, let's move this to minus 40 and see if that gets us where we need to be. Oh sweet, Game Maker, nice. I do wanna force that position to go a little bit quicker when he starts into that path to shoot. I'll force that in a second. Love how much faster that is. That looks really good. Okay, so I'm pretty close to okay with that. I think maybe minus a little bit more on the X position. Where's the so minus 15 and minus, oh man, maybe 5 more here. Let's just see. Cancel. Play again. I'd go up slightly higher and more left. Yep, that's exactly what I just did. Looks like that would be about right. Yeah, and I think I want this vertical to go a little bit faster. I think I'll have him follow a little bit of a pattern too, instead of literally just straight up and down. I'll set up the path here in a minute. Okay. Oh yeah, that looks really good. That looks pretty good too. And that's pretty close to being right on the money, I think. Yeah. Maybe the only thing different I would do is maybe minus Y just a little bit more, but I don't know. It's pretty close. One other thing I wanted to do there though was update this change in so let's say greater than or equal to, I don't know, 15. I want him to go into that vertical shooting position a little bit faster. So I like that. I like that. On for a bit. Chris, what up, dude? Good to see you, man. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Yeah. Alright, so I'm really good with that. Was there anything else? Yeah, let's go ahead and speed that up now, because I bet that'll look just about like it's supposed to. Back to the animation. And we're looking at vertical spit vertical. Back to normal speed. And back to path speed of 3 at least. Okay, anything else that needs sped up? I feel like his vertical pathing, up and down, vertical and yeah, just needs to be a little bit faster as well. Let's change the speed to, what is the original step speed? I'm pretty close to okay with it. I think I want to add 3 to it. Same here, just do the same for headed down. I just want it to be a little bit faster and a little bit like, yeah, dude, glad to have you back, man, seriously. Alright, so waiting for the game to load. I kind of like that. Maybe even yeah, I think actually that'll be good, especially when I have him doing a little bit more of a path. I might have him just do a figure 8 pattern. Yeah, that looks really good. Love it. Boy, don't spit your tongue out at me. I need to speed his raspberry up a little bit more though. Raspberry needs to go a little bit faster. So instead of divided by 2, let's divide by 3 and multiply by 2. So that would be about 66% of normal versus 50% of normal. And I think the last thing that I have to do is make sure once he stays off screen, he stays off screen for good for now. And we'll let the main object of this boss control when he comes back on screen. Last check on this. These up and down could be just a hair slower, but I do like it faster than the original speed you had. Yeah, I will. I can move it slower. Alright, so I'm okay with that. I'll slow it down just a little bit on that, Chris. I added 3. Let's add just 1. Let's try 1 instead of 3 on the up and down. And I'll make his pathing a little bit better a little bit later on. But I need to make sure when he goes out right now that he stays out. And we'll do that in the reset loop here. I'm going to pass another variable here. The variable will be a Boolean. I'm going to say true right now for stay out, and I'll go update the script to make him stay out. Okay, so I'm gonna make it optional. Argument count greater than 1. Var arg1 equals argument 1, and we'll actually mix this up a little bit. So var arg1 equals false, and we'll just change this to argument 1, and then we'll say, like the upward spit a lot, looks awesome. Sweet, dude. Yeah, I was just tweaking it. I don't know if you saw any of the tweaking, but I was just tweaking it right before you mentioned coming on. So he's off screen here. What is the thing we need to make sure he does not come back out on screen for now? We could say parent is not set, but I think I want to do initial entry complete, set it to we could say parent set is false. That would prevent anything from happening, and then later on we could just set parent set to true. So I think I'll do that, and I'll say if arg1, which would evaluate to true if it is true, and I think I passed it in as, let's check, I think I passed it in as false. No, I passed it in as true. Good. That's what I wanted. If arg1, then arg0 dot parent set equals false, and that will prevent anything from any of this from happening. He'll basically be off screen and stay off screen, and then we'll bring him back on, and we'll set parent set to true as soon as let me see, should I do parent set, or let's do this, and because I don't really want to change parent set, let's change it to activated, and we'll set him to false on activated. Activated equals true. So if we don't pass it in, if this evaluates to false, then activated will equal true, and he'll be going through his loop again. Otherwise, we're setting it to false, and he'll be done with his loop for now. So I think that's good. Let's just try it, verify that he goes off screen and stays off screen. Looks good, looks good, looks good. Okay, you should go off and stay off, and he does. Perfect. So, cool. Alright, I like it. Now, for now, we're going to move forward to Julio scripting, and I'm going to pull that up real quick. And we are looking for the scripting. Here it is. Show. Alright. So, I'm going to read this. Cesar enters the screen from the same position as Julio. His movement speed is noticeably slower than Julio, closer to Gaki's overall speed. Cesar's first wave should have roughly a quarter of the hit points of Gaki. As soon as Cesar is fully on screen, he stops at the center vertical position on the right-hand side of the screen. He starts shooting his laser ring attacks at the player. Chris, do I have laser ring attacks yet? Because I don't know if I've seen those uploaded. Cesar, the laser attacks are fired in the direction of the player's position and should travel at roughly the same speed as Gaki's orbs. The laser rings are fired in bursts of 4 with a very short delay between each shot. The rings can be deflected by the katana and should trigger the same energy explosion graphic as Gaki's orbs. After the laser attack, Cesar will begin moving up and down on the right third of the screen, searching for the player. When Cesar's vertical position aligns with the player, he'll throw 2 punches in a fairly quick succession. Speed of the punches should be a bit slower than Julio's, but each punch should travel the full distance across the screen horizontally. After Cesar has taken 2 punch shots at the player, he moves to his next pattern. Cesar moves to the next vertical position on the right-hand side of the screen and then moves forward horizontally, moves to the center vertical position on the right-hand side of the screen and then moves forward horizontally to a point that is nearly the center of the screen. Cesar will then begin to glow with energy while 4 objects, a mix of cars and cargo trailers, you can use any car sprites as a placeholder until the full animation is done. Slowly float up and begin circling around Cesar in a ring that is just slightly larger than Cesar's sprite. These objects will float around Cesar and act as a shield that protect him from the player's fire. However, the player can still damage Cesar by firing at the gaps between the cars. Cesar will then go back to his punching cycle. However, when he punches, the cars do not follow him, but continue to circle in the position that Cesar returns to after throwing his punches. After 2 mid-sets of punches, Cesar will quickly move to the center of the right-hand side of the screen and shoot the cars toward the player. The cars should travel slightly faster than his laser rings and can only be destroyed by the player's weapons, not deflected or dodged. If Cesar hasn't been damaged past his hit points, he will restart his loop. No, give me like 5 minutes to get the rings uploaded. Okay, perfect. So those rings are coming. Let's work on entrance and basic setup here. Alright, so to do this, I think we'll probably have a couple of windows open here. I'm going to have some similar pieces here with Cesar that I have with Julio. And I'm probably going to have to spell out his animations just like I did with Julio. P-Dog Jr., man, how's it going? Good to see you, dude. Okay. Love it. Everything looks good there. What do we have on Cesar? Not a whole lot yet. So let's start updating what we know we're going to need to update. image speed, action equals normal. Okay, now we set the loop variables, and we probably don't exactly know how we're going to do it yet, but we'll go ahead and start. So similarly, we know we're going to do a parent set here, and we might as well go ahead and put activated here because we know we're going to have to deactivate him at some point. And let me make sure that gets added. Activated is false. We will activate him whenever we deactivate Julio. Collision, let's go ahead and add the collision into the step event. And I keep these kind of make it a little bit more sense in terms of layout for me. Alright. Set up the collision. We'll set up the movement here in a minute. We'll set up his death. Whoops. And his initial movement into room is good. We'll put that right here. Oops. Okay, cool. If initial entry complete, do that, and so we should have everything set up for him to fly on screen now. And he should basically fly in and hover. So let's go ahead and test that. Oh wait. I need a trigger for him to fly in, so give me a second to add that. And I'm going to add that probably to Object Boss 2. We'll have a step event, and on the reset loop, I think. Alright, dude, the ring attack is up. Sweet. So if arg0.activated equals false, or sorry, if we are deactivating, let's say true to deactivate Julio, or true to deactivate object. If argument count greater than 2, I'm going to pass one more optional argument in. Var arg2 equals false. It's going to be false by default. Arg2 equals argument 2. I'm going to spell it out right here. Tag partner in, let's just say it like that. It's optional boolean to tag partner in. Cool. Okay, cool. I'll check the ring attack out when I get to it, which won't take long, I think. So if arg2 me look at the boss create event. Parent is boss2. So I think what we can do is say if arg2 parent dot, we'll go arg0 dot parent dot tag Cesar equals true. So that means on the create event I need okay. And the trigger in game will probably be boss comes in, but then tags Cesar. So I think what I'll do is I guess we basically tag Cesar, tag Julio in as soon as he flies on screen. Thinking about this for a second. Do we want to tag Julio as soon as parent is set? Yeah, I think we'll do that. Tag Julio equals true. And so what we'll do is we'll have a variable on the step event that looks for tag Julio. And tag Julio will just say true or false. If it's true, he'll be in. arg0.parent.tag Cesar equals false. So if we tag him, he's in. If we don't tag him, he's not in. Yeah. Yeah. Let me just think about this for a second. So I think that's good enough the way it is right there. The main thing is what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get the parent to control the tagging. So I'm through Julio, I'm trying to set the parent's property to tag the player in, and then to look at the parent in the step event to see if this particular guy has been tagged in or not. And I'm trying to determine if I tag in the partner through this script, do I tag out the current guy? And I think the answer for now is yes. I'm gonna leave it at this for now. We'll see if this is the right action to take when we get a little bit further. Okay. So working on Cesar still. I think I'm going to add one more piece here, which is now that we know he's been tagged in. Cool. So I think we have the trigger to make the parent or at least for the parent to control the property, if nothing else. Because basically when we to add one more thing, I'm realizing that I need one more thing in the step event, which is another true here to tag partner in. So let's try that again. Play. Got a bug. Got a problem with parent on the reset loop. Line 60. It doesn't like this. I think what I need is to make sure parent is set before I look for parent on that reset loop. So let's do that. Because there is a point where early on in like the first few steps we're going to not have the parent set yet, probably like the first one or two steps. And so that's what this little check is for, to prevent us from trying to activate parent when there's not really a way that we can activate parent yet. Or control properties within the parent when there's not a way we can control them yet. So just to reiterate kind of what I just said, I've got in the parent, which is boss, sorry, I'm looking at boss 2J. Cancel. Looking for boss 2, which is kind of the controller for both of these guys. I've got parent that is set as a property on Julio, and then I set parent set to true. I do the same thing with Cesar. I set the parent as self, which is boss 2, and then I set parent set to true, the property parent underscore set to true, and then at that point I can say, oh, when this is finally true, I can now I can start doing something with the parent. So on Julio in the create event, I have parent set to false by default, and then I override that with the parent controller here to set the parent underscore set property on Julio to true, and then in the step event I can say, oh, okay, now the parent is actually controlling. So bring this guy right here. We've got the reset loop right here, got parent there. Let's hit play. I think I just fixed the bug. And now we don't have tag Julio set yet in the parent. Line 2, boss 2. So apparently, instead of exiting like a real if statement would do, once this evaluates to false, now it goes all the way through here. And so I think, again, I'm going to need to modify how I have this written slightly. So the way most languages work is that if anything evaluates to false before the end of the if statement, it will exit the check and it will just jump down to the else if there is an else. But it looks like it's trying to evaluate every single one of these when right now parent is not set on this guy yet in like the first one or two loops. We're going to make sure tag Julio is set, and he is set right there, so we know it exists on the parent. And parent in this case, in case you guys were wondering, is not like inherited parent. It's literally just kind of the parent controller again for these guys. So what I'm going to have to do is once it is set, then I say if parent.tag Julio here, so that it doesn't try to run this until we for sure know that the parent is set. So let's indent properly. Basically don't want to run anything unless tag Julio. Alright, I think I'll probably do the same thing here because I'm going to have to. Hit play. Come on. So even though we got to Julio, still have, and we know the parent is set, the tag Julio is having issues, which I didn't necessarily expect to happen. So even though the parent was set and he was activated, tag Julio is not evaluating to true. In fact, it can't be found. Parent, so that should be self dot tag Julio. I'd like to do a show debug message real quick. Okay, let's just hit play on that. I'm going to see what the output is. Of course, there will still be a failure, but we'll look at the debug message and see if parent is set here as we expect it to be. Okay, so there's our error. Let's look at the I'm not seeing the compile window, and that's what I'm really looking for right now. Where's the compile window? Is it hiding behind everything? Move this up a little bit. There's the compile window. Okay. Parent name, object boss2j. Now that is interesting because it's saying that the parent is itself, and that would explain why tag Julio doesn't exist. So I think I'm going to have to change a little bit of how this gets set in the create event here. Parent self must be referring to this guy. Which again is interesting, but let's just make the parent straight up object boss2. Now we might get past that now from that change, and when we check the debug message a little bit later, we should also see that the parent name is Object Boss 2 and not Object Boss 2 Julio. Come on. Yeah, so we did get past it. That's good. And no controller. No controller telling us. But again, I'm still looking for the compile. Where are you at, compile form? Typical game maker likes to make the compile form disappear. There's the compile form. So frustrating. There you are. So boss 2, there it is. Object boss 2. Reset loop for Julio. So yeah, that's the parent's name. So that's perfect. That's kind of what we wanted to prove. Now, Cesar should be true here. Julio false. Bear with me as a second as I split things up again. Step. Okay, so tag Cesar should be true. Parent set should be activated. We should see a lot of this. I'm trying to think what would be blocking this at the moment. Do we have parent, which is right here, creating both of them. And look at the step event, nothing here in the step event. He is creating both of them and setting them where his X and Y position are, which is off to the bottom right. So technically speaking, Cesar should be responding to this. I think I see part of the problem. We don't have initial entry complete set. Okay, let's check this out. Sounds good, Chris. Got it. Come on, bruh. Okay, so we got some debug messaging in here. Let's see if we can find our compile form, which is right there. Pull these guys up out of the way. Game Maker, please work on your tab system. Reset loop for Julio. That's all we got. We don't have anything about Cesar being activated, which we should. Which brings me to believe that the reset loop is not working, this part in particular. And when I'm activating Cesar, I should also be setting Cesar to true, or Cesar activated to true. So we're forcing these guys to be activated or not. Julio activated. Alright, try this one more time because I think what's happening is activated is not getting set to true for Cesar. Say what? Yeah. Come on. Ah. Cesar's up and activated. That's good. He's not moving though. If initial entry complete, it's not, so he should be running down here. He should be finding the direction that he should go to. And he might not have anything in the draw event. Bit shift. Sweet, dude. Thanks for the follow, man. Welcome to the core. Welcome to the Griffin Aerotech School of Aviation. All right. Okay, so now let's go to check his draw event, which may not have anything in it. It does, interestingly enough. His depth may need to be corrected. Depth engine self, let's make sure he exists in the depth engine. Yes, he does. 150. I don't see a lot here that should be preventing him from showing up. Everything looks good there. Oh, I don't have an animation in place yet for him. It shouldn't matter too much, really. He should just come out and be going through all of his different motions. Full step speed, enter screen speed. His speed is a lot slower. He may be way off the screen, so it may take him a minute to get on screen. I'm thinking we should, since we know he should be up right here, I think we should do some debugging. Okay, let's try that again. I'm expecting, again, not to see him fly out, but to see some debugging to help us figure out a little bit about what's going on, where he is. Maybe he is flying in, but it's just taking him a minute. If it's taking him that long to fly in, why is it taking him so long? Yeah, sure. Okay, so wait a second. I'm not running into anything here. What we got? Look at that, distance to entry. Look how far out he is. Why is he out so far? He was coming, he just wasn't coming fast enough. Why in the world is he way out there? That's so dumb. Look at that 10,000 X position, or 10,000 pixels from, you know, where he should be. 11,000. What in the world is he doing way out there? It's almost like he just keeps moving. What do I have on? I mean, he literally should not be out there. He should be like right off screen. What's in step? Nothing here. If he's inheriting any sort of direction, that's probably what the issue is. If he's inheriting any sort of direction whenever he's created, he's flying off screen. I'm pretty sure he is inheriting a direction which is just way off screen. I think the direction is like 180, and so if we set this to 0, when we turn him on, we will set his speed as well. So we set his speed to 0 when he gets created, and only once he gets activated will he then retrieve his speed here, and his direction will automatically be set by this in the step event there. So let's try that. That totally explains why he was out that far. Come on, there you are. Yeah, dog. Where'd you go, dog? So I think we need to set speed to 0 as soon as he hits his initial entry complete, because he's trying to constantly find the direction. And if his direction is changing at all, when he hits initial entry complete and he still has speed, he'll just fly off screen. So let's try this one more time. Change the vertical bullets so that they affect the top left corner as well. No, not yet. That'll be one thing that I go back and tweak after I've got it all to a really good state. I have that definitely in my head. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, thanks. That's good, man. This is what you're talking about. Boom, there he is. Look at that, guys. Look at that glorious, glorious hand. Cesar, what's up, dog? What's up, yo? Boom. I'll kill you, dog. Okay, cool. That's what I'm talking about. Now we can work on his animation. Get some of the initial framework here for him, which will be very similar. Cool. So let's look at these different items here. Cesar, what you got for me? Normal goes from 0 through 5. Okay, I'm converting this to a script right now because I've used it so many times. It's going to be a helper script for now. Argument 1 equals upper boundary. Convert these to a smaller variable name. Don't need that. I need actually one more piece here, which will be argument 0. So we got arg1, arg2, and arg1. So it's totally fine to return the image index here. Technically we don't need to return anything, so I'm just going to remove that because we're going to control it all through here. So now all we have to do is pass in boom arg0, which is the object, and now we pass in the boundaries. Boom, done. That means we can update Julio, and we'll do that here in just a second, but let's get all the other animations. This one is punch animation, jab. So 6 through 11. Alright, next one is uppercut. 14, 12 through 14. No, 13 and 14. Let's put 12 on this. So uppercut, and this is fire. .21, so 15 through 21. .22 through 33. Charge. Sweet. I am going to change one thing in that index just to make it a little bit better. I'm looking for it. I'm going to change this to floor of the image index so that it forces these items to be integers. It just seems to work a little bit better. Okay, so we got that guy all updated. Now we can see his boundaries, upper and lower. So we're good there. And I kind of want to update the other guy's animation, and since I literally just went through that trouble of creating that, and it's a really simple script, I think I'll just go ahead and update this. Script image index arg0. Look at this, I don't even have arg0 in front of these. Failure. Yet the script still knows what I'm talking about. Probably, well, no, I'm kind of surprised that it knows. arg0, 011. So we'll just verify this is working as expected. (1216), and we'll verify that right now before I change anything else. Let's hit play because we should see him at least behave normally and spit just fine. Okay, it looks like he's behaving normally. He's spitting just fine, so we just proved that that works. And we're done with that for a minute. Let's continue here. (18.2). I'll leave this guy alone. A little bit of special coding there. And I'll leave that guy alone, because that's a little bit different than my script image index. So that should keep him the exact same. We just consolidated a ton of code, unnecessary code. So I feel good about that. All right. So when he flies out, this guy's action is normal by default. His action is normal by default. I'm not changing that anywhere. We should see him fly out normally. And I want to read what the script says. Okay. Start shooting his laser ring and attacks the player. So we need to get the laser. I'm going to get that right now. Sweet. So this is going to be a weapon. But let's attach it to boss 2. Sprite, boss 2, Caesar, projectile. Load sprite. Go to for some reason those loaded backwards. Can I drag and drop? There we go. Perfect. Okay. We'll create an object for that under weapons, enemy weapons, object boss 2, Caesar projectile. Change the sprite to enemies level 2, boss 2, sprite. Change the I selected the wrong thing there, obviously. It needs to be base projectile. Cool. I'm pretty satisfied with the way that is. I'm going to add an event. It'll be the step event. Going to drop it here. If x is less than sprite get width 0 minus sprite get width. Sprite let's just do that. Normally I just type in the exact name of the sprite. I might do that. Let's just type in the name of the sprite. Sprite boss 2 C projectile. Then with self let's destroy. Outside the room to the left. And do I need a create event? I will not add a create event right now. Okay, back to how this works. Oh, one other thing I need to add is the collision. This is one of those things as well that I should just have a script for. It's like super simple. So we say hit this one is actually going to be very similar to this guy. So I'm going to copy some of his properties and code for step. And since we're inheriting from the base object, we need to type that in if we're spelling out the specific event. I need to do the same thing here. Inherit from the parent. And I'm wondering if I'm inheriting right here. I'm not. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. I'm going to guess that that was unintentional. But I do want some of that same code here for the deflection. Cool, I think that I'll leave that alone for now. I need to make sure that this weapon is accounted for inside of my list of weapons in the script, in the weapon engine. And I think part of that is going to be I need to make sure that he's added to the group of objects for level 2, like this, enemy weapons. think once I add, I actually see that I'm missing a weapon here. Projectile and boss 2 C projectile. I think actually now I'm probably going to be able to deflect that first one, although I will probably change how that works. Maybe I'm not missing. Yeah, I am. Boss 2 projectile, boss 2 C projectile. Okay, so now script weapon step will recognize it as it should. I do see that I don't have, oh, I do have outside room here. That's good. Okay, good. I think I like the way that looks. I'll say good for now on that. Cesar, the laser attacks are fired in the direction of the player. He starts shooting his laser ring attacks at the player. Fired in the direction of the player's position and should travel at roughly the same speed as Gaki's orbs. Laser rings fired in bursts of 4 with a very short delay between each shot. The rings can be deflected by the katana and should trigger the same energy explosion graphic as Gaki's orbs. Okay, we'll get that set up, but first let's work on how this works. Okay, so now we're right here. I do need to have this kind of sitting nearby. And we're going to start off with shooting, basically almost as soon as he comes in. So I think those are probably the two main things that I need. If laser counter start with phase 1. If phase 1, then do these things. He has a cooldown counter, so if he hasn't shot 4 times yet, if laser cooldown counter less than or equal to laser ring dot speed equals 4. I don't know what Gaki's orb traveled at, so we're going to look at that real quick. So find level 1, boss 1 here, step event I'm looking for the orb, probably in the loop. So let's go look at the loop in the script. Loop. Laser position.
Did you hear snorting or anything?
Wow. Did he die? Here? You tell?
Outside, by next town, they said.
I'm looking for the orbs. I mean, really, the orbs fire with the laser, so I'm surprised I didn't see that. It might be attached to the laser, so I'll check that. Object boss 1 attack real quick. Yeah, here we go. Oops. Orb 1.orb speed. So that must be attached directly to the orb. 3. So speed on this projectile will be 3. Thank you for all your help. 3 LR dot direction 180. So shoot, and then when he actually fires one, we count upwards with the laser counter. Eventually we'll be at 4. And then we start doing what? Rings can be deflected by the katana, should trigger the same energy explosion. After the laser attack, Caesar will begin moving up and down, right third of the screen, searching for the player. So very similar movement. I'm going to call that phase 1, and then we're going to go ahead and create phase 2. So go ahead and get ready to start phase 2. Remove these debug messages we no longer need. Okay, phase 1 begins right here, and phase 2 should begin right here. Fire the laser rings, and then we're going to have him search for a player. He will throw 2 punches in fairly quick succession. Speed of the punches should travel a bit slower than Julio's, but each punch Should travel the full distance across the screen. After Skycurser has taken 2 punch shots of the player, he moves to his next pattern. Okay. So he's doing the searching similar to Julio, but instead of firing when he finds him, he's going to do his jabs. So I think we just grab the similar code. Yeah, so we'll have one that says found Skycurser equals 0 equals false. Found Skycurser cooldown equals 0. So this guy has very similar properties in that respect. Heading up equals true. Heading down equals false. And I think we leave it at that until we are ready to throw in the next piece. So we jab here, and I think we're good to... So right here when he starts firing, we do have to make sure that he only fires right when he is right on the money in terms of his animation. So let's verify what that's going to be real quick. Really 17, 18 or 19. I think 18. On 18 he fires and it kicks him back. Yeah. So I'm totally fine with the way that looks, and I might need to speed up his animation. We'll see. So I think I need to make the laser cooldown counter equal whatever this is going to be. So 60 times 0.5. I think I'll just do that right there, room speed. Because I want it to be ready immediately and then have a cooldown in there. So I just literally make it the same as whatever I'm checking for. I need to reset the laser cooldown counter right here so that it just starts over counting. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, waiting for the compiler. Any day. No. Why are you doing that, bruh? He's not doing what he should be doing initially. So I think what we need to do is set the action by default. To normal and then override it if we need to. So in phase 1 he's going to be shooting the whole time. Search for the player. This would be action normal. Actually, it'll just turn into normal automatically. Oh, and I'm not doing what I need to be doing for the animation, which is script boss 2J animation. Say sorry animation. Cool, that should do it. Yeah. Yeah. Huh, look at that. And he flies off screen. Why did you do that? Alright. He was obviously not firing the correct. I mean, that was really odd because really he was acting like I had shot him when I didn't. Okay, I think I'm going to modify a couple things here. So that I can just practice, so I can just work off of him and not have to go through the Julio scripting initially. So we'll just make sure he's not activated, so nothing on him will be able to run. And we'll make sure he is activated and that parent has him set to activated. So boss 2 is here. Come on, boss 2, where you at? There. Go true here, false here. I think that'll do it. Okay, one other thing, because I have a speed set right here, it needs to be enter screen speed. Forgot about that. Dude, why are you flying all the way off screen? The reason why is because he found Skycurser. Okay, main thing though, he's not firing still. Floor image index is equal to 18. It's like his image index is not ever hitting there. Let's try again. debug. So he must actually be shooting. He doesn't stop like you would expect him to. I think the reason why is because we are resetting this. Cool. Alright, let's try this again. I want to see the debug messaging for the laser. I think it may just simply be a problem with the depth engine. That we need to specify where that thing is coming from. There's a stop, and we don't ever turn it back on yet, which is fine. Okay.
Oh, is it because I came close? Okay, I won't flip you over. Oh.
Let's look at our debug messaging. Image index 18. 17, 18. I mean, it is hitting 18, so it's got to be the depth of this thing is off. So I'm going to actually change the depth of that weapon in the depth engine, but I'm going to change it on the object itself. Oh, the other thing is I might need to have a draw event. Let me see. Yeah, it does have a draw event, so I just need to inherit. And I'm going to remove this debug message. Good enough for me. Whoop. All right, try again. Dude, where's your projectile? Come on. There is no event to inherit there. So I wonder if that's partially throwing it off. Okay. Trying to get some good intel on what image index we're on and what the cooldown counter says. Because we should definitely be having some projectiles fired here. There they are. Well, what took you so long? I literally basically changed nothing. Huh?
I was able to get them really clean.
Awesome.
They look like pretty good.
They look good.
So now I have 2 new pairs of shoes for $10.
Good job.
Try out. That's cute.
Okay, well that was a little bit odd because I didn't change anything. I just added some debugging in here. But the position is off for sure. I think it might be off because of where I added the sprite point of origin. So let's go look at that real quick. Yeah, that should actually fix it right there. That was pretty good. Alright, try one more time because I don't want to see that, false fire. Wow, that was pretty cool. I'm totally okay with that for now, honestly, just keeping it moving. Alright, then he found Skycurser. Now he needs to throw 2 punches.
Put her on her belly.
Yeah. Okay. Let's try this. Basically, this should put him in an endless loop of heading up and down and trying to punch Skycurser. Let's just see what this does. I actually think I've got one bug in here. This needs to be updated. So I'm going to update it real quick. Try it again.
Hi, baby. Friend, when you talk to her in that kind of voice, her hands really start to move.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, baby. Your eyes get bigger. Hi. Hello. That's fine. Well, look, it's a little.
Punch me.
Yeah, you like that? I just said there's strawberry.
Try again. Okay. When he finds Skycurser, his speed turns into 0. If jabs are started, let's just set that to true because I think it's false by default. Okay, so he's gonna go all the way across screen.
Dad?
Yeah.
South. Their roles have reversed.
I'm the one that's kind of more pondering this and kind of taking on his role, or he's the one that's really driving forward. I was still looking at this big chunk of change that's going to go to pay for the home. Wow. So this is all private fee.
Well, yours. Well, the only thing is that it is above your budget.
Which property is going to affect, our lives in New Jersey and our children's lives. It's going to give us someplace to look forward to. In other ways, it's going to come to something about this. I don't think that was convinced that now is the right time for something like this. Maybe your clients over to you guys. People be pretty stubborn in their own way. If I crunch the numbers and then they work out, can they at least keep it on the list?
I don't know. I think he did a nice job in showing us this property. I don't think he did such a good job with his mathematics skills. It almost feels like now it's in the running, and I really wish it wasn't. You don't wish you didn't know what you didn't know.
The way I would change going forward is I'm going to keep the budget. So what I'm going to do is
Oh, really? You found your hand? Did you hear that, babe?
Mm-hmm.
Those are fine in our hand. So I guess you are very hungry, huh?
further away from town, where we have a golf course on site, has 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, includes own pool, price tag more than $10,000. If you enter this way, you have a first bedroom. I like the pool.
Yeah, a little small, but big bird back view. That's nice.
Okay, well, what do you guys think about the house?
It's got plenty of space. For me, I wish there was more Ocean View, but
Yeah. I guess my biggest issue, Ocean View, but also I really like the house. Walk around in the restaurants without the family, but otherwise, considering compromising the view for the space and the budget.
if you give up the view of this house, that's honestly, I would have to consider.
What about rentability? Can we rent it? Because that's really important.
Yeah, well, to be honest, renting would be much easier for a property that's more centrally located.
Okay.
I'm not sure if, the rentability isn't there, that anything's gonna happen, but I'm really hopeful that it will.
We have one pick up.
Oh, it is.
Fuck you, Aaron, all right, so. I was actually wondering if we reached a decision yet.
Oh, God.
Not one for hasty decisions. Stephanie is busy preparing. Crunch some numbers.
Do this now.
Continue.
There's gold in that bag. And they're gonna find it.
Looking at about 12,500.
I love buying new
And gold. Here's something like a PRI network.
All right, P-Dog Jr., see you later, man. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Take it easy.
Continue.
Stephanie likes to lead with the practical. And with college, mortgages, and retirement all looming, she needs more time to mull things over.
Okay, that was really good.
I don't know that I can make it right away because I really want to put everything down on paper.
If we can do this now, I'd be thrilled. And don't think Stephanie's gonna get slim down right now.
Not fully ruling out a property, the couple heads back to New Jersey to consider their options.
Okay, so we had a chance to talk on the plane a little bit about everything and see what we get.
Coming in $20,000 under budget. House one makes a strong first impression.
Oh, this is beautiful. You're very able.
Smells kind of for me.
Is this gonna go higher?
We get some minor fuel production there.
House two is more than they could ever hope for, including the price.
Oh my God.
This is what I was hoping for.
We came here, it was in 400 pounds right away. It's a big 2,000 so.
$410,000. House three is a compromise that packs a lot of punch.
Welcome to your kingdom. I think you and I both can agree what house we're doing.
Yeah, and if we make house one, just the water leak will disappear. That construction is going on in the next year or so. So,
Okay, so one's done.
yeah.
Looking at that, the house two and three, house two is beautiful, it's on the water, it's walkable to town. I'm just really concerned with the cost. For house three, it's large, it's spacious, it's got a private pool, it's a private home, and that's really nice too. So, what do you think?
Well, for me, house three did have the largest bedrooms, but, you know, it's not any of the things we talked about having in our own house. And, you know, we concerned about the budget, we ran the numbers last night, it will be tighter than we wanted it to be. So we can afford all the bills in the house too. You know, we added an ability and the fact that some of those bills are going away. And it just becomes that much more affordable.
So, you want to go for house number two?
I would love to go for house number two. You can let me have it.
Okay, house two it is.
House two.
Give me a kiss. Got the marker.
Sounds good.
Continue.
Honestly, killing Stephanie wasn't that hard as it should have been.
This is beautiful. Are you happy I did it?
I'm very happy that you did.
He spoke my language. We walk into town every morning. We don't have the cold, the work. We really feel like you're in European city culture that we would never do.
The biggest issue we had was price. Like the rental just makes everything that much more better. Yeah, just wondering how it's looking to do. I'm glad it's worked out as well. That's because I don't think I ever get rid of it. I love you. I always wanted to be oceanfront.
I don't think we're ever gonna get tired of this view. It's definitely fun.
Beautiful. It's always sunny. It's warm. The worst part about it is waiting. You could do this.
Continue.
While it was really difficult, really I can't argue the dream. I'm really glad that we did it because it will happen for many years to come.
Where did you change the diaper, Daddy?
No.
You see me snow?
I mean, I can. I'm still streaming.
in any way, shape, or form in order to do this stuff that you saw perform today. And second, we perform our own stunts here, fixer upper. About to mess it
Okay, so I'm fairly decent. I'm fairly okay with how that turned out.
Find all the active brands that keep you going. At JCPenney, when it fits, you feel it.
Okay. Alright, the next part, guys, is going to take me a lot of time, and for sure I've been streaming for about 2.5 hours. The next part of the scripting will be Cesar starting to charge up and then collecting a ring around him of cars and vehicles, and then he'll at some point charge the player, and then after that he'll throw each one of those cars or vehicles that he's picked up at Skycurser, and that's how that shield / ring will eventually disappear, and then he'll probably go into that loop again later after he's accomplished that. So we're getting there. I mean, it's going to look really good when both of them are fighting together, when the speeds are correct. Right now the speeds are going to need some tweaking. But as far as what we got done for today, we did set up the transition between the two for Julio to leave and Cesar to come in. We also set up the animation for Cesar. We set up the laser firing, and by the way, the lasers that fire as Skycurser comes out and Skycurser dies 2 or 3 times in a row, that's not going to happen the same way in the game. So that's why I'm not addressing it. As soon as he comes out, basically he dies. That's only in this test room. I know for sure that's not going to happen in the other room. So we are just kind of hanging tight on that before I'm not going to need to address that. And then we also set up him searching for the player and then jabbing at the player if he finds him. And we set up his initial entry into the room. So yeah, we only have about 2 more phases left, roughly 2, and then of course he'll fly off screen and he'll restart his loop if the player, or he'll fly off screen and Julio will come out by himself if you haven't defeated him up to that point. So I think that's it. I think that's all we can do for today. Thanks for the support as usual, guys. I appreciate it, and I will catch you guys